So I wanted to talk about this as well. The Undertaker has been on just a journey of interviews this past week. Tons and tons of content. If you are interested, he's just everywhere. Basically, like I saw Chris Van Vliet just posted his interview with him. Another guy that I follow, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He just did an interview with the Undertaker. Unbiased journalist Ariel Helwani was
Unbiased.
just did it, and this is when he said it. So I watched this clip. So, um, the Undertaker was asked about his appearance on Raw 30 and like if he would ever come out for another match, or like if we're ever going to see him put on the trench coat and the hat again. And I thought it was very interesting because basically what he said was when he retired from matches, so did that persona. He said he will never put on that hat and he will never put on that trench coat again. And hence why he came out as the American Badass for Raw 30. And I remember when we first saw that him coming out on the motorcycle, we were like, oh my God, this can't, like, this is not real because it's been 20 years, since we saw that. So this definitely gives you that context, I think, that we were missing. And I thought it was I actually liked it because he did cite the fans and like living up to the legacy that he created with that character, and feeling like because his heart and soul is in wrestling and being the Undertaker and being exactly what people want him to be, but he knows that like physically he can't be what they want him to be. And so I thought it was really cool to hear him say that, other than the fact that, he's just putting himself first, because I mean, the man is like 50 something years old, like, of course, but that he's citing fans' disappointment in him not being able to deliver what he thinks is worthy for them as the basis for why this costume is staying in the closet.
Yeah, no, and it needs to. I could not agree more, because the Undertaker is someone that really is protective of his character. He's really protective of how he's used, what goes into it, all that. And for him to even say, the dead man is dead,
Yeah.
pun intended, that it makes sense, because the Undertaker character, he just was this guy, kind of a zombie looking dude, all that, you know, and he didn't talk. He didn't say anything. You just, digging holes and taking souls.
Mm-hmm.
When you
Did
bring
you
the
did you
American,
watch did you
I did
watch
watch
his
it.
okay, I
I
was gonna
did.
say, didn't he say that? Like, is
You
that a
did
quote? Okay.
verbatim. Yeah,
Okay,
no, I
yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
And when you bring in the American Badass, who is really, Mark
Him.
Calloway, that's him,
Yeah.
like, to a T.
Yeah.
That is what
It's
you
Mr.
want now,
McCool.
huh?
Mr. McCool.
Mr. McCool too. I mean, he's a pretty McCool dude,
Mhm.
and that's what we want to see though now. Like, I'm sorry if you want the Deadman Undertaker or whatever, but like, no, that's gone. That was his wrestling, whatever. Now him doing this, we're gonna get to hear interviews like this and sound
Yeah.
bites and whatever from the most well-respected man in the, I would say, the history of the WWE locker room.
Well, and it's like he's human. He's showing that he's human
Exactly.
and that he's not a mythical, bigger than life being.
And now we get to hear, his, knowledge about the business and
Yeah.
stories and history stuff, and what is he like. We're gonna personify the Undertaker. We're gonna make him
Mhm.
human and give him, like, oh, what's this match that really gets him emotional, or, and he can actually, what's another great part of this too,
Mm.
he can put over people more.
Yeah.
And he can say, like, I really love working with this guy, and I love
Mhm.
this, and I this is the next step of his career, and I'm happy that it wasn't a forced. It was him saying, "You know what? This is it. It's like,
Yeah.
when shit like that happens and works out, it puts a smile on my face. It does.
Well, and I think that I was never like someone who was a big fan of the Undertaker. As I've said before, like I respected everything that he brought to the business, and especially the longevity of his career and whatnot. But if you are a massive Undertaker fan and you miss that character, you have 30 years of Raw and SmackDowns and pay-per-views to watch on Peacock, because that's what you want to see. And I feel like when someone retires and then they keep coming out of retirement and kind of like doing the thing over and over again, it kind of like doesn't give you that closure that I think a lot of people want. And, you know, there's a lot of people who are very upset and cried when we saw, you know, the hat in the ring, and that was the end. Like that was the closing moments of Raw. And it's like, people have already gone through the mourning process of dealing with the fact that the Undertaker is retired. He's not going to be in that ring anymore. So for him to keep bringing it out, it's kind of like just putting salt into the wound. Like it just doesn't make any sense. And like he even says in the interview, now that he's doing the Deadman shows and he's talking about the business and his career and his
Oh,
life,
that's so bad.
it doesn't make sense for him to then go back in the ring and like, you know, roll his eyes in the back of his head and like pretend that he's dead. You know, it's like, because we do live in this social media age, people see you outside and they have a hard time sometimes, especially kids, realizing that who you are on TV is not who you are all the time. So it would be kind of weird, but I thought it was interesting. And I don't think it would be received badly. I think that people would understand. I mean, I can't imagine wanting to be stuck living in a certain character for the rest of your life simply to please a few people.
Yeah,
You know?
like, do we really want to see the Undertaker like
die, and all that stupid crap?
Yeah, we don't want to see any
all
of
that
that.
stupid crap.
We don't want to see that stupid crap.